First of all, how about that big-time ass kicking the Sharks put on the Red Wings last night? How good was that? First of all, I want to tell you it's an absolute pleasure to be in this building. I actually, in 1995, called my first ever National Hockey League game on ESPN, that other network that wasn't smart enough to take the UFC under their wing. But I did the game, and this place has always been very special. I know what kind of fans you guys are for all kinds of sports, especially mixed martial arts, so I cannot wait for tomorrow night when in the main event of the evening, the two-time Olympian Dan Henderson returns to the octagon to face off against Mauricio Shogun Rua, the former UFC light heavyweight champion. We've got a great title contender matchup in the bantamweight division. Former champion Brian Bowles against the California kid, Uriah Faber. And in our co-main event of the evening, and this may be the one that you San Jose faithful are most excited about, the axe murderer, the Brazilian, the future Hall of Famer, Vanderlei Silva takes on San Jose's own Kung Lee. For a nice crowd, you guys are still pretty loud. I like that. I got to say something personally. I was here the last 2 days with my son, who's a hockey player, and I got to give a shout out to the entire San Jose Sharks organization, Drew Remenda, the broadcaster, Jumbo Joe Thornton, Tom Holy. Everybody probably gave my son the most special day of his life. He got to skate on the ice yesterday. He got to meet the guys in the locker room. So anybody who's a Sharks fan, anybody who appreciates what the San Jose Sharks do for this community, a big round of applause. But me personally, thank you. I'm humbled by the way they treated my son. Thank you very, very much. Now we turn our attention to the fastest growing sport in the world, the sport of mixed martial arts that's in your building. And the UFC, the biggest and the best of the organization, is here in a couple of days. Coming off a great debut on Fox. Everybody who saw the show on Fox, let me hear you. I know you all did, because we had about 9 million viewers when the ratings peaked. So from Dana White and from Frank and Lorenzo Fertitta, thank you for your undying support, and congratulations to the new heavyweight champion of the world, Junior Dos Santos. All right, here's what's up. This is the UFC Fight Club. It's the question and answer. You guys are going to have the floor, basically. Microphones are right there and right there. The deal is our special guest is one that everybody loves to hate. But if you really knew him, you would love him to death, because he's a great human being. But wearing the black hat is something he does very well. My son did ask me this morning before he headed home, not to go to school, but to get home for hockey practice. Good parenting on my part, of course. When he headed home this morning, he said, "Dad, why do you host the Q&A? They just ask those other guys questions." So don't feel pressured, but I'm happy to answer questions as well. But anything you guys want to talk about, we will for sure. It all belongs to you. UFC Fight Club members are the true, dedicated, and the most, I think, the most committed fans that we have. So thank you for your support. Questions will go back and forth for a man who has been in the UFC for nearly 20 fights now. It's amazing to say that. He was a member of the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. He was pissing people off, spraying them with hoses, and we should have known back then that he had a dark side. He's an outstanding wrestler. He has called San Jose his home for many years, trained at the American Kickboxing Academy right down the street here in San Jose. He has fought for the title before, and I have a really good feeling that he will fight for the title again. Our special guest today, the one, the only, Josh Koscheck. Guest, the former top contender in the UFC welterweight division, San Jose's Josh Koscheck. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Do you feel safe here?
Well, I just want to start off by saying, if anybody asks Goldie a question, I'm gonna leave. So.
No kidding. Why are you here, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no kidding. This is what I've gotten really good at. Next question, please. Go ahead over here, please. You know, it's easy. It's kind of like being on the air with Joe.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of the same.
You do a great job. Joe does a great job, and you know, I'm really blessed to have Goldie on my side when I'm in the octagon talking good about me.
I've been on your side for a long time, and the reason is because take all the flair and all the fun and playing the bad guy and doing the things that you've done, you work hard to be the best in the world, and you've worked hard to be the best in the world since you excelled as a wrestler at a young age. And share with us just kind of what your work ethic and what your goals in life are all about, because it's obvious with the success you had at wrestling and the success you've had making the transition to mixed martial arts that you may have fun, you may crack a few jokes, but you take this stuff pretty seriously.
Yeah, I take my job serious. You know, I'm training 6 days a week, Monday through Friday. My only day off during the week is usually Sunday. And I dedicate myself because I want to be the best, not only as a fighter, as a person, but as a person after fighting, you know, because I can only fight for so long. So, you know, and I'm the type of person that I don't think that I could ever have a boss, a real boss that's, you know, sitting at a desk or anything like that. So I got to do what I got to do to survive and make it to the next level so that when I'm done fighting, I can have a career after fighting, such as my own businesses and things of that nature with my gyms and, you know, apartments and all the things that I get into. So I try to take everything very serious when it comes to this sport, when it comes to the training aspect. But the PR and, you know, building a fight, that's business. That makes it exciting for you guys, and you know, that's what I try to do, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of my career. You know, it's working, so why change it?
Absolutely, it certainly has worked, and it makes your fights even more interesting. I think we should have a verbal sparring contest for the belt between you and Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, that would be.
And do we have it in Montreal or do we do it in Brazil? I mean, you know,
probably not Brazil. Maybe
probably
Montreal.
It would be fun though. What do you enjoy the most about being a mixed martial artist?
I enjoy the ability to get into the gym and just train. You know, for example, today I just got done sparring John Fitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week, and I get to go in and just get my butt kicked by him, and I'm not a southpaw sparrer. I'm a traditional, so I've been sparring him because he's fighting Johnny Hendricks southpaw. Right. So I've been just getting my butt whipped in southpaw, and Monday I came in, I had 2 black eyes. I'm just getting over this one. Today my forehead's all purple. So, you know, it's just about getting in there and with your friends and just having fun and getting to train and getting the opportunity to try to better yourself in positions and just having fun. And that's the most important thing about this sport is the training every day is a blast. You know, you come up with new stuff as in training either jiu-jitsu or boxing or kickboxing, and you know, I'm in love with the sport of mixed martial arts.
Bob Cook, Javier Mendez, obviously, you know, Dave Camarillo, 3 of the greatest coaches, 3 of the greatest mentors in the business, but there's a lot of good ones out there. Why has AKA been such a good fit for you?
I think because of the training partners, to be real. You know, I got tremendous people around me, and you know, with the new guys that are coming on board, such as Daniel Cormier, Luke Rockhold, you know, the older guys such as Josh Thompson, you know, John Fitch, Cain Velasquez. You know, there's a lot of good history amongst our gym with fighters. You know, relatively the sport of mixed martial arts is new, but these guys have been fighting for 8-9 years, you know, before the UFC became the UFC. And, you know, I think that's one of the big reasons why I chose to go to AKA. And, you know, Zinc Entertainment put us all together in the same place under the same roof. And, you know, I really got blessed to have the opportunity to meet Crazy Bob Cook when, you know, he came recruiting me. So it's just been a good fit for me.
And you were also the first man who taught me about sling box.
Yeah.
You did too.
My Sling Media, that's cool.
It's a lot of fun. Hey, don't forget, it's about You Guys Fight Club. Microphones over here. Over here, you guys fire the questions. It's interactive. We're going to have a lot of fun. You talked about Cain. Obviously, he's a training partner. He's a great champion. He's a good friend. But it didn't go his way. You know, he got knocked out 1 week ago on Fox. How is he? What can you tell us about Cain Velasquez? I have no doubt he'll be back bigger, better, and stronger and faster. But tell us how the week has been, not only for Cain, but for the team, because you guys truly are like brothers at AKA.
Yeah, it was a tough deal. You know, I think that the UFC, I think, you know, Cain himself, you know, he really prepared hard for this fight. And I don't like to see, you know, it's not about winning or losing, you know. I don't like to see that happen to a friend, a brother, you know, the way it happened. You know, I could accept the fact that, you know, Cain went out there and got beat just in a decision, but seeing a friend get knocked out is really, really heart-touching. And, you know, one of the things I said to Cain after the fight was, you know, Cain, It's not about winning or losing. You know what? You're going to get to go home. You have a beautiful wife, a beautiful kid, and you know, just cherish those things because you can come back from a loss. We've all done it. You know, we've all been there, and you know, now it's going to show if you're a true champion or not. The ability to come back from this loss, and you know, it's a sad thing, you know, because you know he's a great kid, and my heart goes out to him all the time, and you know what? It shows. He is a champion because Monday morning he was in the gym, you know, and he was working out Monday. So, you know, that I was like, whoa, what are you doing here already? And he goes, you know, I let a lot of people down, and I need to get back to the top. And, you know, he's already started training again. So I'm really excited about Kane's future.
Well, that's awesome, and you know, it's really important. He let nobody down because he went in there and he fought. He fought to the best of his ability, and a big round of applause for Cain Velasquez, the former heavyweight champion. You know, you really had a matchup, Kosh, of two dudes who, great stories, great people, great fighters, and even though it was your teammate who was defeated, it was almost one of those where it was a win-win because one person who was going to leave with the belt is a guy who you would want to represent the heavyweight division as the champion. This time it wasn't your partner, your training partner, but man, take nothing away from Junior Dos Santos.
No, you can't take anything away from Junior Dos Santos, and you know, he had the courage to get in there and fight Cain when he was on crutches, you know, 10 days before and couldn't walk. And, you know, it just shows what kind of person he is, that you know what, he had an obligation to fight, and he didn't let the fans down, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Big round of applause for both those guys. Heavyweight fight a week ago. All right, let's fire away. We got to get more people in line to help this gentleman out, you know, because everybody's being shy over there. I'm going to take him first just to make sure people go over to that side. So start over here with you, sir.
Yeah, it's hard to get over here. I think that's why there's no one in the
We're going to try to work on that, you know.
Josh, when you fought Dustin Hazlett and won, I think it's the most emotional I've ever seen you after a fight. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think I had a lot riding on that fight. You know, it was down to my last fight in the contract, and you know what, I was coming off of, I believe, a loss. And I needed to, you know, show that I'm improving as a fighter, and you know, you lose 2 in a row in this game and you could be jobless. So, you know, I had a lot of pressure to, you know, make my mark. And, you know, in Ohio, I believe I fought in Columbus, Ohio. I had to just come out and prove a point and, you know, prove that I'm getting better as a fighter. And, you know, that kid was tough.
A big kick.
Yeah, he was a tough fight. Actually, I felt that he was winning the first part of the round, and then I had to come back and fight back and get the win. But yeah, you know, I work with a lot of good guys. You know, Jasper's my Muay Thai coach, and I had just recently hooked up with him in Fresno, and you know, I really never learned, you know, kicking before, so I just, you know, figured, what the heck, let's go for it. Let's throw it out there.
Thank you very much. And that was, you know what, that was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt against a 4-time All-American wrestler, and you guys were standing and trading in a Muay Thai style, which was spectacular. That was the best striking not only we saw from you that night, Josh, but also from Dustin Hazlett.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, and you know, it's pretty impressive. I said he's one to watch after I fought him. And, you know, he had some pretty slick submissions. You know, I remember at the Palms, one of the fight nights, he had an amazing armbar from, it was something like crazy, off the back or something. So, yeah, he's a tough kid.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Beautiful Columbus, Ohio. Next question over here. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Mike and Josh, for taking my question. Josh, I got 2 questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
One is, who do you think is going to win the GSP Diaz fight, Super Bowl? And
Wait 1 second. Were you the guy that was at the ticket thing last night?
No.
No? Okay. All right, cool.
Sorry.
You look just like him. Yesterday, for those who don't know, I did the hunt for UFC tickets yesterday, and I'll tell that story in a second, so remind me, but go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, that was the first question. Second question is, Cowboy Cerrone recently talked about fighting his best friend Garcia and fighting Guida or Gallard, people from his camp. He'd have no problem doing that if he was asked to, and I just wondered if you changed your stance on whether you'd fight Fitch or not.
No, I fought him today, and you know.
Thanks for taking the question.
Look at my forehead. You know, what was your first question?
First one was GSP Diaz. Who do you pick to win?
You know, to be honest with you, I really I like the Diaz kid. You know, I think that you know, he brings something similar to what I bring to the table. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. realistically, I think GSP is a strategist, and GSP is probably going to come in with a good game plan. That's where he can play it safe and get the victory. But I'd love to see Diaz win, because when I beat Carlos Condit February 4th, and that means me and Diaz for a title shot, and then that means it's a big fight because he talks really good, and I believe I can talk up a fight really good.
We just have to get everybody to show up to the press conferences. You'll be there for sure.
Well, I almost didn't show up today, but
yeah.
you know, thanks for California. You know, they legalized that thing. What is it? Oh yeah, that made me come out here today. No, I'm just kidding.
Beautiful. Hey, tell us about this story about the ticket hunt. You're getting the ticket hunt story you're going
Oh
to tell
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Okay, yesterday I was twittering, you know, all day, giving people hints. You know, hey, the UFC
Is it
does this.
twittering or tweeting?
Tweeting, twittering, twatting.
Twatting,
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
twatting.
Squat, I mean, you know. But I was like, honestly, that was the funniest thing. So I'm in front of Dave Camarillo's jiu-jitsu school right down the street here on West Santa Clara. And I'm like, okay, all right. And Laura from the UFC is there. And I was like, all right, I'm twittering this. Let's go. So literally within 1 minute, I see this big dude, like 300-pounder, comes scooting around the corner. He goes, smashes into a car, and then he's coming at me. And I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna kill me. He's just running at me like, I'm gonna get those tickets, Koscheck. And he's like running right up to me, and he just grabs me and hugs me. I'm like, oh God. Like, you fans are crazy. I can't even believe that you guys, like, within 1 minute of twittering downtown San Jose, there was 100 fans showed up at Dave Camarillo's gym. I mean, it's like, I had a smile from ear to ear. And if you go on my Twitter, I retweeted a tweet from Laura, who works for the UFC. I was just of odd. Like, I want to do it again because I want to video at this. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. That I had a kid on a skateboard with a fro bigger than mine, black hair, rolling over. I mean, people in cars are leaving their cars parked on the side of the street, in the middle of the street, doors open, running out, did I win? I'm like, oh, you're a little bit late, sorry. You know, but I just got to respect you guys as fans, because without you guys, the sport's nowhere, and it just shows that you guys are loyal. You guys like love this sport, you know, and it's really cool to see from a standpoint of an athlete, seeing how nuts you guys are just to go get free tickets to the UFC.
It's awesome. And thank you, fans, for that kind of support. Thank you very much. Speaking of love, I just got to give a shout out to a very, very good friend of mine, Master Paul McGowan, his wife Kara. They got kids and everything, and I'm like, they're holding hands and everything. It's so darn beautiful.
Jeez, lucky man.
Seriously, he is a lucky man.
Yeah.
That is classic overachieving.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you know. Well, she's gonna get her eyes done next week, and then we'll talk about the relationship.
He's kind of short too.
Yeah, he's not very tall at all.
Yeah.
He's waiting for 125 to come in.
And he has no hair.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's by choice. No, it's probably not by choice. Anyway, please give a good friend of mine, a guy who's a great fan of the sport and teaches a lot of youngsters about mixed martial arts and karate. Please give my friend Master Paul McGowan a big round of applause. And his beautiful bride, Kara, who runs the gym. And that's the foundation, Kosh, as you know. That's the foundation of mixed martial arts and the next generation of fighters.
Well, I know, I see it firsthand. You know, I own a couple of gyms in Fresno, and it's absolutely insane to see these kids training nowadays. And thank God I'm like 34 this year, and I probably got 2 or 3 more years left of this, because I don't want some young little kid who's been training for 20 years coming up and kicking my old butt when I'm 40, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully I'll be sitting next to you, Goldie.
And it's great, absolutely. From your lips to God's ears. Right over here. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, Josh. Hey, Goldie. Josh, when you came back from rehabbing from the fight with GSP, there was a rumor going around that you might go up to middleweight division. Do you plan on staying at welterweight, or do you plan on maybe going up for a fight?
I would love to go up for a fight. I actually tried to fight here in San Jose. I was begging Dana. I was like, let me take the Hughes fight, but please keep me on the San Jose card. I want to fight in San Jose. I've been training out of San Jose for 8 years, and I consider this as my second home. I really tried to get the fight with Vanderlei Silva here in San Jose, but it didn't work my way, and maybe next time. But I'd love to have a grudge match with possibly Chris Lieben someday. I think that would be a fun fight from The Ultimate Fighter 1. You know, I'm all about, you know, at this point in my career, I've been around for a long time, since Ultimate Fighter 1, and you know, I want to take big fights. I just want to have fights that I can build, fights that I can get excited about training. Because if it's just, you know, some average young kid who I really have nothing to gain by fighting, it doesn't get me motivated in the gym. Not that I need motivation to train, because I don't want to go out there and get embarrassed in front of, you know, millions of people. So, but it just makes it funner in training, knowing that the stakes are higher. And really would love to fight big fights at 185, absolutely. Because I walk around right now, I'm like 193, so you know, so I could just, you know, make that weight very easy. So.
Speaking of grudge matches and going up, one that you mentioned before, possible catchweight bout with Tito Ortiz.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, I mean, he's.
Where would we catch?
Yeah, wherever. 'Cause, yeah, I mean, me and Tito we've had some words, and you know, I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. Never have been in my life, and you know, I think with one of the reasons why I think I've been so successful in this sport is because I have ADD. It's not because I'm a good athlete. It's because I put my mind to something and I just can't let it go. So, you know, I definitely would love to fight Tito. That'd be a fun fight. But yeah, would he love to fight me? That's the question. He would have a lot
Why
to
do I
lose.
feel like there's a headline in an article, ADD, the key to success of Josh Koscheck now?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
That might be attitude, discipline, and dedication, too. It might be that, too. Next question over here. Go ahead, Kung Lee's little brother.
How you doing, Koscheck?
Good.
And tell Kung thanks for stealing Josh's fight.
Yeah, go come tomorrow too. Would you rather have a crack at Anderson at middleweight or a third try at GSP if you had a choice?
I'd take the GSP. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, it's probably going to haunt me forever, but I don't even know if I'll ever get another chance at him. But, you know, I had 2 chances and I failed. And I'm one that hates to fail. You know, I don't like to have that defeat, you know, and I believe that I could still beat him, you know. Circumstances of that fight, I'm not making any excuses. You know what? It happened, you know, I got popped in the eye right away and, you know, couldn't see, but George fought a hell of a fight that night and stuck to the game plan, and he won, and he was the better fighter. Not only once that night, but he's been the better fighter twice. So it's up to you guys, you know. Can you guys talk Dana White and the UFC into doing a third one, maybe here in San Jose?
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much. Was it the first jab that busted it?
Yeah, first jab.
I can tell because you immediately went like this.
Yep, first jab of the fight, right in the eye, and you know, that was the rest, and I was just kind of under survival mode. At one point, I remember I was fighting him, and I thought he was over here, and he was really over here, and I took a shot, and I was like, oh shit, what was that? I'm like, oh, I hope they didn't see that on TV.
We did. Slow-mo, too. Yeah. You know, that's the old, there's 3 guys out there, hit the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I noticed, too, and you know, great job by him. He's obviously utilized his jab to help to defend his championship, but to be caught square on the very first one, almost going back to like a Randy Couture, Tim Sylvia, it changed the whole complexion, and I'm sure changed your game plan immediately.
Yeah, well, I had no clue what I was doing after that. I was just like, I went back to the corner, and I don't know if you guys know Crazy Bob Cook. He got the nickname Crazy Bob Cook because he's crazy. He tells me, he goes, what the hell are you doing out there? I said, I can't effing see, Bob. He goes, I don't give a, you got a fight to win. I'm like, okay, I'll do my best, sir. You know, so, but that was the kind of communication I was getting from the corner. It's just like, hey, you got a fight to win. You know, you got to find a way to win this thing. And so, you know, I tried to grind it out and, you know, try to maybe possibly get in there and get a clip, but, you know, wasn't my day.
Third one might be a charm if we do see it.
Yeah.
All right, next one over here. Go ahead.
How's it going, Josh? Mike?
How are you?
I just want to say first, Josh, I've gained a lot of respect for you recently, mainly because of your fight anyone, anytime, any place attitude, and I've become a big fan. But my question is, if you had one dream fight, one fight that you'd want to see more than anything as a fan, what would it be?
Ooh.
Or who would it be?
Well, at one point, I thought it would be like, you know, Fedor versus possibly like, you know, when they were in their prime, you know, Randy Couture or, you know, I mean, that was like when I was about 3 or 4 years ago, that was like the fight that everybody wanted to see. You know, it's like, okay, is this guy the mystique of Fedor, you know, and if anybody can beat him, it's Randy Couture because he's done so much, and he's the guy that can beat him. So back then, that was probably the fight I would like to see, would have liked to have seen. Now, I think, maybe probably Anderson Silva and John Jones would be a good fight.
I was going to say, that's mine.
Because you got to see those two guys are like, they're similar, they're long, they both come to fight hard, and I think that would be a good fight. I think Anderson Silva has proven that he can fight at 205 and be successful there. So I think that would probably be a fight that I would probably want to see as a fan.
Who do you think would win, or who would you pick to win?
Oh, man.
The fans.
Yeah, that would be a tough one to call because, it depends. John Jones has got a little better wrestling, but Anderson Silva, I believe, has the better stand-up. So, it would just have to see that classic, striker versus kind of wrestler match, and see who could put it in the best position. But I wouldn't count Anderson Silva out. I think that he's just that gifted.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question. Go over here. Go ahead, bud.
You're the man, Koscheck.
Thank you.
Hey, this guy's kind of out of the picture now, but 'cause you already whooped his ass. But would you consider fighting Paul Daly again?
Yeah.
Speaking of grudge matches.
Sure, why not? Bring him
And,
back.
if you did fight him, would you kind of strike with him a little bit more just to kind of whoop his ass a little bit, or would you grind him out again?
No, I would fight with him.
Yeah.
You guys gotta understand the pressure that I was under in Montreal, and I had Javier and Dave and Bob Cook in my ears saying, "You better stick to this game plan. You're wrestling 100. You're wrestling for 15 minutes if you have to, because Ultimate Fighter coach, fighting for the title was on the line. So for me, for once in my life, I listened to the coaches, and I got the victory. But I felt like I could have stood with him, because right off the bat he threw a jab, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're so." I told him, I yelled at him, I said, "You're so slow. It's not even funny," So I like to talk when I fight guys. So I was.
You like to talk when you're not fighting.
Yeah, of course. But I was in his ear the whole time, like just saying, "Man, so you get up, I'm gonna knock you out." And he goes, "Let me up then." I'm like, "Nah, you got to get up though." I was just in his ear the whole fight. And I just kept telling him how slow he was on his feet. I was like, "Man, you're so slow on the feet. You're so slow." I was like, "Oh, and your mom." And that's when he put his finger in my eye at the end, and then he tried to sucker punch me. So.
Let me up then, mate.
Yeah. Hey, mate.
It's interesting that Josh said that, though, sticking with the game plan and how difficult it is. Did a radio interview with my good friend Carmichael Dave, who's the best in Sacramento. I mean, just a great supporter of our sport. And we're talking about Martin the Hitman Kampman and how Martin's always right on the edge. And he got caught up in that fight with Paul. Maybe something you learned from, Josh, but he was doing very well with his game plan with Paul, and all of a sudden, they got in the middle, they started slugging, and Martin's like, "You know what, I'm a kickboxer, let's go. And then boom, the power of Paul ended the fight, and that's when we've seen Martin go, "You know what, maybe there's a reason why Randy told me to fight this way and not that way," right?
Yeah, well, no doubt, definitely Paul Daly has heavy hands.
Yes.
I mean, we saw it against the Nick Diaz fight when he dropped Nick. I mean, Nick has been on a tear and obviously came back and won the fight. But, I think the Kampman kid definitely has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I think he has bad game plans. I mean, for example, he should have beat Jake Shields with Jake Shields' first fight if he would have stuck to the game plan. It's like, okay, why try to submit a jiu-jitsu guy? You're a striker. Get away. You're winning the fight. Keep the fight standing. So I just think he has a little bit of bad strategy going into that fight as well.
Yeah. Or good strategy that he's having a hard time sticking to.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely. And no disrespect to Martin, but it's a good point, because you get into the heat of the battle, and oftentimes you abandon the game plan. Yeah. Sometimes it works, most times it doesn't.
Us as fighters, we have egos bigger than this building.
Yeah.
So, you crack me, I'm going to crack you back.
Right,
I mean, a lot of times that gets involved in the heat of motion. You don't think with your brain, you think with your ego.
Right. Ego, what was the line from Top Gun? Your ego's writing checks your body can't cash? Yeah, something like that.
that a
You
song?
good? You had another one? You good?
No, I'm good.
All right, bud. Thank you very much for the question. Thank you. Next one over here.
What's up, Kosh? What's your Goldie?
Hey,
Two
what's up, buddy?
questions.
Hey, Mark Delagrati may try to steal that jacket, so you might
Oh
want
my
to keep
God.
it close.
I
That's the
can't
kind of
even
stuff
see.
Delagrati would wear
Can you
right
cover
there.
that thing up? I'm getting blinded over here.
Wow. I'm wearing that tomorrow night on the air.
I'll let you use it.
I think it's sweet. Delagrati's looking for you right now, trying to get it.
This goes back to the teammate versus teammate subject. You just mentioned right now that you feel you have a couple years left in yourself to do this. If you were at a point in your career where you've won all the right matches and the UFC is guaranteeing you a title shot, but your opponent is John Fitch,
Nah, I'll go 185. No chance.
How come you never say he has to go 185? How come you never make him like?
He said it a million times too. You guys got to understand, we're not like the Greg Jackson gym, you know, where guys come in and out for a couple days.
And I'm half kidding. I'm like, why?
We're not like that. You know, me and John Fitch have been training together for 8 years now. You know, and it's like, you guys really want to see us fight Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Come to the AKA in San Jose. You guys can stand up there and you can watch us fight. You know, and it'll be for free. You won't have to pay $54 for it.
this is for a title though.
No chance. It's, you know what? It's not worth it. You know, it's not worth it to me. You know, I got enough. You know, I would rather step away from the sport than fight John Fitch. How's that?
Cool.
Other than Monday,
I hear
Wednesday,
those
Friday.
boos over there. You know what? I just thinking of that, Goldie. I was telling Goldie earlier. You know, I'm thinking about changing my name. Ocho Cinco changed his name, and you know, it seems like every time I walk out to the cage, it's the same reaction. You hear this boo, and I'm like, okay, all right. I just might be changing my name to Boo Koscheck. You know, because when I walk out, everybody's booing. I'll be like, yeah, they're cheering for me. Oh, yeah. All right.
Where's the black hat? Well, thank you. Anything else you want to auction that off for charity or anything?
Second question was, I was wondering if I could go get a face-off picture with you.
Sure, come on down.
You know what? We're not going to do a lot of them, but with that jacket, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pop one over that thing.
Yeah. That thing is crazy. While we're doing that real quickly.
Actually, I want him to take it off, and I want to see just bare chest.
Just to know why we're getting this done, and I guess I'll take the picture for you. You got a camera? Really? Seriously, what do you think we're magically going to provide a camera for you as well, sir? Would you like us to blow it up into a poster and send it to the house too? I mean, seriously, you want to sit next to Dana tomorrow? I mean,
We'll put
what else can we do,
UFC
sir?
139.5 on it, you know?
Yeah, anything else? I dare you to try to step on Burt Watson's scale. That's a no-no. Yeah, got it.
You never know. He might just
Pleasure to meet you.
show up. How are you? We got to do it. Let's do it.
We got to go again. By the time I got through, you smiled. Sorry. I don't want to smile. Here we go.
What's your name? Julian.
Julian and Koscheck tomorrow live on pay-per-view. I'll be Joe Rogan. Bitches! All right, just a note from beautiful Rachel Sutton. Fight Club members planning to attend the Fight Club party after the weigh-ins, please keep your white wristband on to gain entry. White wristbands. Everybody got those? So if you do, so the party Fight Club members planning to attend the Fight Club party, keep a hold of that wristband. That will help you to gain entry into the party. And thank you so much, Rachel, for that. You look lovely today. Next question over here, please.
So my question goes back to the last fight that you had with GSP. I know he effectively was able to neutralize you with the circle and jab. I know you had an issue with the eye. But in
How
my opinion,
boring is that?
he should have been able to finish you, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's such a great opponent.
I had one eye.
Right?
Yeah.
So my question is, what would your plan be to fight him in the next third rematch if you had a chance?
Poke him in the eye.
Really? A boring win just like GSP? I mean,
Shit.
I'm a fan of GSP,
A win's
but,
win. That kid's making
you know,
money.
a safe win is a safe win, but...
Damn. That kid made a lot of money that night. I made him so much money that night. Man. He got paid that night, let me tell you. Yeah, I didn't do so bad myself, but I think I would try to straight up just wrestle. You know, I mean, because he's going to just try to stay away and play the game plan and do the takedowns and use his distance and jab and his speed. GSP is actually, you know, both times I fought him, you know, he's actually really fast for a white guy, you know, from Canada. He's actually really, really quick.
Him and Rick Nash are the fastest white guys from Canada ever.
So, you know, he uses his speed very well, and he comes with a good game plan, you know. So he's a smart fighter. He doesn't fight with his ego, and he doesn't fight with emotion. He fights with his brain and his skills. So I think that's what makes him such a hard opponent to fight, because you know you think you have him figured out, and then he changes. So I think next time, you know, if I get the opportunity, I think that you know, I mean, I'll be more prepared, and you know, just go in there and try to kill him. You know, poke his eye out, maybe. You know, maybe that's the key. But you know, George has been a great ambassador of the sport. He's been a good champion, and you know, he's going to be around for a long time, I think. So you know, I think that he comes in with a good game plan, and he fights smart and safe. You know, might not be the most exciting fighter out there, but he wins. And that's what it's about, winning and losing. And when it comes to this, as fans, you might not like it because it's not as exciting as going out there and slugging, but you got to look at it at a different aspect of, okay, this kid's, you know, trying to provide for his future. He's, you know, he's got a family possibly, and you know, he wants to make as much money as he possibly can and break the records of being, you know, the most successful, you know, wins in the UFC and all that. So, you know, I don't blame him for fighting smart, you know, because he's making a lot of money. And shoot, if that's what it takes to get there and, you know, get the belt and fight smart and keep winning and making money, then, you know, God bless him. He's doing something right. So I can't hate on him. That's for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, even though you were definitely trying to.
Oh, of course.
And you know, the interesting thing, a couple of interesting things you said there, Josh. First of all is that George does stick to his game plan. He is so good at everything that he can have a different game plan for different opponents. And he does understand the fight game, and it goes back, and no disrespect to Cain, but you know, even Dana talked about it afterwards. You're wondering why Cain is standing in the middle of the octagon with Junior Dos Santos instead of shooting for that double early. And again, no disrespect, but it's a 50-50 fight on the feet. It's probably an 80-20 fight. Cain's advantage is if he uses his wrestling against Junior, it was 64 seconds he got caught, but it goes kind of to what you were speaking of, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely what I'm speaking on, and
Yeah.
I think that.
And again, no disrespect to
no,
Cain, because
no, well,
he might have been setting
I
up with the
think-
leg kick, setting up for that takedown.
Well, I have mixed opinions, obviously, because you know I train at AKA,
Sure,
so it's going to be a
absolutely.
little bit different. But you know, in my opinion, I really truly believe that you know I think the game plan was a little bit off.
Yeah.
You know, for the Cain Velasquez fight, and you know, I'm not going to get into that. I've said what I have to say to, you know, our team, and I'm going to keep that private. So,
And very respectfully so.
yeah.
Cool. The next one will be even better.
Yeah, yep, he'll be
very
back.
soon. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. He's already in the gym. Next one over here.
What's up, guys? Thanks for coming out.
Our pleasure. Great to
Thank
be
you.
here.
I was watching a Joe Rogan first to Goldie because you haven't got a question yet.
Thank you
I was
so
watching
much. My
no,
son will be so
you can
happy.
leave now. No.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast and he said you drink like 10 Red Bulls a night.
Well, not a night.
Around
Just
there.
on show night.
On
I
show night,
bury
yeah,
him
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good.
And they said,
I just want to stay up and excited. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, he said there was gonna
This
be
is what Red Bull does to you.
Oh, right there, yeah.
That's not bad for a 47.
That ain't bad.
I can't hold my breath much longer, but that's not bad.
This guy's.
You know, I will tell you one thing, though. This pissed me off. This guy walks into England. He hadn't been able to work out in how many months after your eye surgery?
Probably like 4 or
You
5
hadn't
months.
done anything. He hadn't been able to raise his heartbeat. He lifts up his shirt, and he's still got a 47 pack. And you know, basically at that point, I was like, F off, Koscheck. Seriously. You genetic freak, you. But that's not bad, right, Master?
No,
That's pretty
not
good.
bad for
right?
47. Well, he's got bigger guns than me.
Yes,
That's
I do.
For sure.
That's
And
I'm
they're-
on the Mark Delagrati program.
All right, all right. I
Girls
gotta
for
get
the
on that.
girls. And I kick hard, right, crew? I do kick hard.
You actually coach him?
Yes, he
Oh
does.
man, what's this world coming to? Very sad.
Anyway, he said they're going to make a UFC drinking game
Yeah.
So every time we gotta take a shot, we gotta start that up. Just a little.
Well, you know what? I never really, when I was a young boy growing up in, the west side of Cleveland, I went in 5th grade. I was just thinking, they said, what is your dream? I said, my dream is that someday when I urinate, people will do shots.
Exactly.
And who would have known? Mrs. Stentz, my 5th grade teacher, said that seemed crazy. I got thrown out of class. But no, I don't know. I mean, how that happened. It's not the Red. I drink a lot of water too. I drink the Red Bull because it tastes good, and it's a long night, Joe. And I call a lot of fights, and we just got the adrenaline going and stuff. But it is pretty funny that people. I had one dude in, I think it was Denver, and he was in the front row. And every time I'd run to the bathroom, he had his beer right there, and I'd look at him, he'd go, and I go, yeah. And so he'd take a drink. So we literally played it together. It was a beautiful thing. Sometimes I don't go to the bathroom. I just go back and Joe tweets you guys though, just to mess it up. So. Don't believe everything you see.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
and
you.
One for cost, you were talking about 185 earlier. If you did go up, would you change your training at all since you didn't have to cut down to 70?
Nah,
Same old.
I fight, for example, I really thought I was going to fight here in San Jose at 185.
Which we all wanted you to.
And I was training with Luke Rockhold the whole time, and he's a monster. He's like 205, and I was like, well, I got to get used to getting my butt kicked by the big boys, So get up there and scrap with those guys and see how hard they hit. And I train a lot with those bigger guys now, so it's
you feel
only going to make.
comfortable doing it around them too?
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the Ultimate Fighter, we fought 185, yeah, I'm not opposed to fight anything if they're going to pay me good.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. I can't wait till you fight at Condor.
Thank you.
Thank you very well. And it's not like 10, it's more like 6.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. We have a budget.
Come on, Hendo.
Yeah.
See, I'll take over. Go
there we go. How about Dan Henderson coming back to the UFC?
What's up, Cause?
What's up,
hey,
man?
I think you gained a lot of fans when GSP bowed out and you called out Condit. First question is, you've had a lot of interactions with Dana. Could Condit have made that fight happen? Honestly, if he had asked for it?
Yeah, definitely. And he's a moron because I was out partying 2 nights before, having fun. I was like, oh, GSP's hurt? Dang, I'll take that fight. I text Dana right away. I was like, hey, DW. I was like, I'm ready to go. Let's get that fight, And he's like, oh, my God, you're nuts. I was like, but you know what? Carlos Condit had a chance to fight me on 7 days' notice, and he blew it. And now he's going to fight me on 12 weeks. No chance. Sorry.
Yeah, much respect, man. I'll be rooting for you. My
Thank
second
you.
question is, you say you walk around at 193. When you're preparing, do you find needing to make weight, do you find that just as a sign of mutual respect for your opponent? The reason I ask that is because your buddy Paul Daly seems to constantly, blatantly, go over and not really think about it. So.
Yeah, well, I might be a ass clown for the most part whenever you guys see me promoting fights and things of that, but I definitely respect this sport. I think it's a sport that, you have to have honor, and making weight is part of the game. And I just think that it shows a lack of respect when you do those types of things to not only your opponent, but to the sport.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's the wrestler mentality as well. You had no choice, your entire life.
I feel like I need to make weight because the fact that I'm like, it's a mental thing, It's like, you didn't make weight, you must not be in good shape, know? So for me, it's like, I'm making weight, So.
And circumstances do happen infrequently, but that's the one thing. And you know what? One guy who's in the Hall of Fame who's always made weight and has never been a doubt in anybody's mind is Matt Hughes.
Yeah.
And he's got that same respect and that same regard for the sport. And there was never a question if Matt Hughes was going to walk in at 170.
Yeah, and he's kind of a thick 170
Absolutely.
pounder,
Yeah.
So.
But and you know what? It goes back to that's the respect that he had for his opponent, the fans, and for the sport of mixed martial arts. Next one
plus,
over here.
one other thing too, Goldie, on that is like, if you don't make weight, I think they take some of your money.
Yeah.
I like my
Absolutely.
Diamondbacks here.
You don't want to give 25% to your buddy.
Yeah,
Who isn't
exactly.
even your buddy because you're fighting him.
Yeah.
Great point. Next one over here.
Hey, what's up, Goldie? What's up,
How are you, bud?
2 questions. Number 1, what are your thoughts on possibly fighting Nick Diaz? I know there's some shakeup here depending on what happens. How do you feel about that?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that GSP's knees still hurt February 4th. And they can just say, you know what, Koss, you're a nice boy. Get in there and fight him. So, but no, I'd love to fight Diaz at some point. He's a good Strikeforce champion. I think that he's fought some tough guys. I think that the guy's been kind of tailored towards him. you know, a little bit, but I think he does bring it, and I think it would be a heck of a fight for you fans. You know, that would be a good build-up.
I would say a big thank you because you're standing here and yeah, he's not. So. My second one, and I'm pretty sure Goldie's going to say no, but I would really love to get a square up for you. I got some kids that I teach that are huge cost-checking UFC fans. I'd love
Since
to
you
get
have a
square up.
dethrone shirt on, we don't care what he says. So
Oh
come
yeah,
on now.
dethrone. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, all right.
That's cool. And I have my cool UFC shirt. Get the new UFC.
Yeah,
The new UFC line of merchandise is
UFC,
sick.
you can
by
get
the
that
way.
on UFCstore.com.
Absolutely, UFC. Very nice. And I'll even take this picture too. I feel like my wife Kim tonight. She's half Japanese, and I'm the cameraman all of a sudden. This is awesome. Thank you, people listening. Thank you very much. Thank you for playing along.
Hey, you're in
Okay.
San Jose. You better watch those
Yeah.
jokes.
Well, it's no joke. You know my wife. It's
I
true.
know.
All right, let's go here. So so we got that in the background. Let's do it right.
How many beers you had today? None. You smell.
Do I?
No.
How
Last
many-
night?
Yeah.
All right, last night?
All right. We
swear
doing the
off?
mean one?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Kick my ass, you know you would. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. You do smell a little bit.
Yeah. That's all good.
You know, it's a ton of fun to have fans like this, though, and that's what really makes this sport what it is. And like I said before, I'm so glad we're finally in the Shark Tank, man, because it's one of the best buildings ever. So, cannot wait for tomorrow night. Woo! You're up, bud.
Josh.
Yo.
Great fan.
Yo.
You're the man. You
Thanks.
got great heart. I want to know what motivated you early on.
As a fighter,
As a fighter early on.
Well,
before the
He's a
hype.
young man in
I know,
Waynesburg, Pennsylvania.
yeah, well, I come from obviously a small town, and one of the things that motivates me every single day is the fact that I don't have a trust fund mommy and daddy that's sitting at home when I fall on my butt and say, oh, you lost, don't worry about it, you don't need to fight anymore. Nah, you know what motivates me? The fact that I don't have anybody to depend upon when, you know, if I fail in this game. So that's what motivates me so much to succeed. And not only in just fighting, but in my gyms, my apartments, my other businesses that I do outside of the octagon. I'm motivated because I don't have somebody there to catch me when I fall, you know? So I kind of have to do that myself. You know, I have to be my own provider. And, you know, I come from very humble beginnings, and, you know, it's not that I've made it yet, but I'm on my way. And that's one of the reasons why I think that motivates me to come out here and train hard 6 days a week, and you know, 2 times a day, and just grind. And another thing that motivates me is, you know, I don't like to get embarrassed. You know, you go out and you get cracked and you get knocked out in front of millions of people on pay-per-view, and you know, 20,000 people in the arena. That's a sad day. So that's another thing that motivates me.
Right on, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Right on. How you guys doing there?
How are you, bud?
Hey, cheers, buddy. Doing well. A couple questions. First off, I might be one of the few Chael Sonnen fans actually in here, but maybe not. Right on.
No, we are in America.
I
You
love
might
it.
have a few here.
That's great.
How can you not love that guy? I mean,
Dude, you know.
he's real, and that's what it's about, right? I mean,
That man is a red belt in verbal sparring. Not even a black belt. Forget black belts. He is a red belt in verbal sparring.
Well, one of the questions I was going to ask is how much of his personality you think really is genuine and legit, and how much of it, knowing people say you like to wear the black hat, how much of it is him trying to stir the pot?
I think it's more him trying to stir the pot, and
Yeah.
he's got everybody fooled, and it worked, because now he got to fight with Anderson Silva again. So,
Yeah.
you know, I definitely think that he's got a unique personality. I've never really hung out with him, but I've been around him, and you know, he's pretty chill, dude.
Right on.
So,
You know, the cool thing about
he's a
Chael-
politician, so you know we
Exactly.
can never trust
You know.
those ones.
I mean, it's like I said about Josh right at the top. Josh is a great person who cares a lot about this sport, but he knows when he needs to turn up the pub machine, and he's got some great lines. Chael Sonnen is also very dedicated to this sport, dedicated to his life and his family, but he's also a very witty dude. Some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I mean, he could go up there with Rogan and do some stand-up comedy. I mean, he really is that creative. So when you have that level of wittiness and intelligence to go along with the fact that your takedowns are pretty sick, you know, Chael Sonnen has been successful in MMA for a long time, but and I don't know why, for one reason or another, maybe because he was behind Randy and Matt Lindland and the guys up there, you know, Team Quest for a while, he didn't really get recognized. Well, all of a sudden, when he started yapping a little bit, dude, he's one of the most talked about guys in the world. So you know what? Good job for you, Chael Sonnen, because you have provided for your family. And I give him all the props in the world for that.
Sure. And just one more question on that. What do you guys think how the rematch will go down? How do you think that fight will play out?
Anderson's pissed. I know that.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. And Josh is a perfect example of this. When you are a great wrestler, and he is a great wrestler, and so is Chael Sonnen, and you can take somebody down and dictate where the fight takes place, you have a great chance to win. I was shocked with the way that he was able to do it against Anderson. Now, I know Anderson had the busted up rib, so put that aside. But Brian Stan, the takedowns, I was reminded how much that he can stifle an opponent and how much that he can dictate a fight. And it just made me think that if he can do that again, he's got a chance to win. Now, the big difference is he's got to finish him. He wasn't able to do much, a lot of damage at ground and pound. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on his back, caught him with the triangle. But I don't have to explain to this man that wrestling dictates where the fight takes place. And if he can dictate where the fight takes place, he's got a chance to beat him. If he stands in the middle of the octagon and swings, he's going to get kicked right in the face.
I never would ever, like, if I was a betting guy, I think coming from the background I come from, wrestling, I would never not bet against a wrestler because of the control and the takedowns. You know, I mean, look at George. You know, he's learned it and he's winning.
Yeah.
So it's, I think that, I might just go on a limb and say Chael's going to win that fight.
I'm saying head and arm choke, third round, Sonnen. So
There you go.
thank you guys
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much. I think a lot of people forget that it was wrestling that was the key to the Hall of Fame career, Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
The fact that nobody could take him down, so he knocked everybody out. Wrestling in reverse.
Yeah, and Randy on the other end.
Randy all the time. Greco, dirty boxing, right?
Dirty boxing,
John Jones.
Yeah.
You know, John keeps you at distance. If you get close, he gets you in the Greco and he throws you around. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool sport. Embrace the grind. Next up is you.
Hey, what's up? How's it going,
How are you, buddy?
Came all the way here from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Montreal. I thought it would look like a Habaton shirt.
Well,
It
I
looked
kind
like
of figured that shirt. You know, I was just going to say something.
UFC 124.
All right.
Very
there you go.
nice.
I was there, man, yeah.
Give a shout out to my good buddy, the Predator, Patrick Cote, when you get back there, will
I
you?
haven't heard from him in a
So
while.
you're Canadian, huh? Eh?
Yeah, I am. And,
Were you just going to say unfortunately?
I was kind of.
All right.
You know, that's like part of the reason why I'm here. You know?
You're in my hometown.
Dude, you're French
in my
Canadian. You're
territory.
neutral, man. You're good. Nobody's mad at you.
But yeah, like I said, I was at.
Were you
UFC
booing me?
124. You know, look, I gotta say, like.
Should I come up there?
Thing is, if I'm not gonna boo you, I got another 50,000 people around me who are gonna beat the crap out of me, you know. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll take my chances of one against 50 against
yeah,
one.
that's
50,000
probably
against one.
pretty good odds.
But what I wanted to ask is, that fight. I mean, the crowd was tearing you up. It was horrible, man. It was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my life. But and I know how fighters are always saying that when they're in the octagon, they don't really, they sort of zone out the crowd and whatnot. But I mean, now that the fight's, a year past us, I mean, did the crowd have somewhat of an impact?
Oh,
on
I heard them.
Yeah?
I was a little nervous at first coming out because I just,
Yeah.
every time they would show me or George on the screen, it would be like, me, it'd be like, "Argh." George would be like, yeah, So it was, it was interesting, that's for sure. I've never ever experienced a walkout like that before. It was 24,000 Montreal Canadians just throwing beer and whatever else, yelling "F you," and it was pretty intense. And I remember at one point during the fight, they were just hackling me. It was just like singing their songs, and it was a good experience. You know what? When I'm old, I'm gonna have grandkids, and I'm gonna get to look back and I'm gonna say, hey, check this out on YouTube. This is your grandpa. He was a little shit stirrer.
And I also wanted to ask. I mean, they were asking about teammate versus teammate and all these camp questions, and I noticed the way you train. You tend to focus your training in one spot, at AK, as opposed to a guy like, for example, GSP, who goes, Jackson and Faraz and all these super camps that they have, even Black House. Do you think these super camp things you think it's something that's good for the sport, or I mean, are you more the kind of guy that has his one gym that with all his training partners and?
I only know one thing, and that's training with my guys.
Yeah.
I did travel at first. You know, I trained with BJ Penn for a while when I first got into the sport. You know, I trained with Sean Shirk. I trained in Vegas before. Yeah, I did travel a little bit, but I didn't like it because of the fact that you don't get in a routine, and I'm the type of guy that likes to, you know, have structure. You know, I want to wake up in the morning and do the same thing, you know, throughout my whole camp, and I want to keep that routine. But you're a brave man for coming here to the States.
I actually have a question for you, Goldie. And,
All right.
and I actually asked you this exact same thing back in Montreal at UFC 124.
All right, let's see if I answered the same way or if I'm full
first,
of shit.
Before that, I want to say, when is the UFC coming back to Montreal? Because they were supposed to come back and then
yeah,
they switched
I
back to
know.
Toronto. I mean, what's going on with that? What is that?
I don't know.
Toronto sucks, man.
They haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. I know that.
Yeah. But
we'll be back to Montreal for sure.
What I did want to ask you is if you can give me one of the classic catchphrases, the Goldie catchphrase. It is all over. Come on. Yeah.
Josh Koscheck, George St. Pierre, Koscheck, big right hand. It is all over. Josh Koscheck is the UFC welterweight champion.
Yes.
Man, that guy's good.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We got time for one more. I apologize to you guys. And you guys, last question over here. Don't forget official weigh-ins for UFC 139. Which is tomorrow night, are in 1 hour. Last question over here. Go ahead, bud.
I'm not trying to one-up him or anything, but we came all the way from New York City. Me and my buddies here. So
It's about the same distance,
yeah,
so,
well,
you know, I mean.
What I want to ask is just, if you don't get that last shot, is there anything else that you really want to achieve, a fight that you want to have before your career is over if you don't get that last title shot?
Nah, I think, you know what? I think my career will speak for itself when it's all said and done. You know, I'm willing to step up and fight anybody. You know, I think that I don't care when the fight is. If I'm in shape or I'm not, I'm going to step up and I'm going to man up if they offer me to fight or I think I want to fight somebody, you know. So I think my career will speak for itself. And you know what? I think I've done a lot of good things. You know, yeah, I've been hated to loved or loved to hated, and that's just life. But at the end of the day, there's a saying that's called, this new saying that I came up with about a week ago. It's called Team M-E.
Yep.
You know, it's Team Me, man. You know, as long as I can, you know, never have to work again or have a boss like Goldie, I think I'll be all right.
For sure. Well, I can tell you one thing on that point. Is I've been blessed to call a lot of fights with a lot of fighters, and when Josh Koscheck is walking into the octagon, I know that there's going to be a fight, and I know something special is going to happen, win or lose. I know you're going to bring it all. I know you're going to compete. So, dude, you have made your statement. You've done it for years. It's far from over, but one of the best of all time. Big round of applause for Josh Koscheck. Don't forget, keep a hold of your white. Sorry, Josh. Keep a hold of your white wristbands for the Fight Club party. Go ahead. You had the last thought.
Thank you guys for coming out. You know, I love to rep San Jose, and I'm honored to, you know, train and make this my second home. And hopefully one day I'll get the fight here in San Jose. So just appreciate everybody coming out.
Awesome. Official weigh-ins in 1 hour for UFC 139, Shogun versus Hendo. Thank you very much, Fight Club. See you in a little bit.